Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I am coming back at you with some Wargaming miniature video. In this video, we're going to continue on with our weekly live stream. Trying to resolve some camera. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll leave it like that. That should be good. This is for me. I'm sorry it's got some glare on you. Just don't look in the corner there. Alright, this morning, I don't know, I'm feeling a little chilly. I got my sweatshirt on, but I'm going to throw a knit cap on. Maybe that'll help. Maybe eating that apple cider apple sauce that I just ate might partially have something to do with that. Let's roll this thing. Okay. And the tea that I made this morning is already, I'm sure it's already cold. But I don't want to make any more tea until I finish the first one that I made. Alright, so if you don't know what we're doing this week, I basically said that I absolutely have to finish. I don't have to absolutely finish, but I want to absolutely finish this commission for my customer so I can get it shipped off to him. I've already done all the infantry. The artillery pieces are up here on the table, but they're pretty much already done. I've already done all the detailing. I did some highlighting, and basically I got these completely done. They just need to be washed, but I'm not going to wash them until after I finish the crew. That's these sticks here, and glue the crew down to the base. Once I do that, then I'm going to go through. Well, actually, I could wash these guys on this base, and I could wash those on that base, and then glue later. I certainly could do that. I might do that. I think I'm going to do that. Okay, so I still need to. I'll wash them separately. Let's swap out my glasses. Turn that off. Alright, everybody should be able to hear me. Everything should be good. What we're going to do now is I'm going to jump into some hunter green for the Lancers. Gotta move this. There we go. And if you remember yesterday's stream, I showed off the wall of paint that I was using, and between then and now, because I painted some in between the streams, I ran across a few colors that I had forgotten about. So as I was removing paint, I was adding paint. So it's weird. And I don't think I've ever used this many colors on one sitting. You know what I mean? Usually I have like a dozen colors, but this one I think I had like 20 colors. Okay, now I need to put this light where I can, where it will help me see what I'm doing. There we go. Now with the Lancers, it's not a whole lot of thinking when it goes to the hunter green. Pants, jackets, and I'm painting over the straps and the collars and stuff because I plan to come back in later, touch those. I'm not going to paint the gloves though. Okay, this doesn't seem to be stirred very well. Now I mentioned yesterday that I was going to, after the stream, I was going to work on my shelving placement, you know, like where my troops are placed and in what boxes and storage areas and stuff like that. I was going to basically clean up the my shelves and my storage areas. But what is that? Is that the end of his glove? Oh, weird. Okay. But that didn't happen. Basically took a little bit of a break, had lunch. And then I sat and vegetated for an hour or so watching some videos. And then I was getting ready to do just that. And then I fell asleep at my computer desk. And then a couple hours later when I woke up, I said, okay, I'm just going to go take a nap. Went to bed. Woke up a few hours later. And then went back to work on the figures. So my shelves are untouched. That's okay. I got me some 40 winks or whatever you say. So I watched a little bit of that Beacon 23. I saw that it had a second season. So I decided to start from season 1, episode 1. And I'm disappointed with that show. I watched like 2 or 3 episodes. And then I realized Beacon 23 is a lighthouse in space. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting idea, concept, or whatever. That it's in an area of space that is turbulent. And that if a ship comes through that area, it can advise the ship on whether or not it's safe to go through that area. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But my downside is the show is called Beacon 23. It's not, you know, it's too narrowly focused for my liking. It's like all the things that happen on this beacon. The beacon is a space station, basically, but the show's all about what happens on this space station between all the, the people on that either come and go or stationed there or whatever. So initially I thought, okay, this sounds like it'd be really cool. But then after like 2 or 3 episodes, I was like, where's this show going? I'm going to give it probably a couple more days to let it kind of just settle down in my head, and then I'm going to go back to it and watch another episode or 2 just to see if I enjoy it. I'm not going to give up on it just yet. Because they did give it a second season, so somebody must have liked it. And you can't really judge a show on 2 or 3 shows. Because maybe it's not all about what's going on this beacon. Maybe it's about the scientist, or maybe it's about an alien, because they're hinting at an alien. They've got these pretty cool robots. But the show is called Beacon 23, so I have a feeling it's going to be all about what's on this beacon. And I'm not really down for that. I'm still on the first one of these bad boys. Okay. I thought slapping this green on would be a lot faster, but I am trying to avoid the sheepskin and the horse. So it's taking me just a second longer. Now I don't have to paint the collars because those are going to be a different color. red, but sometimes I do just to make it blend with the rest of the uniform once I do go in and paint the collars red. Now this regiment that I chose might be the first, actually, the first regiment possibly of Lancers. Had a couple of different uniform styles that changed throughout the years. One of them is with when the red was on their vest as well. But I think the Waterloo version, they didn't wear that uniform. I think that's more of a parade uniform. The uniform they wore during the battle, I think, was green all the way around. Jacket and vest. But with red collars and cuffs. And red turnbacks, maybe even red turnbacks. I don't see it on my screen. I'd have to scroll, and I'm not going to do that. Okay. The turnbacks I can add later. That's neither here nor there. And their musician actually wore a blue jacket. Which is weird. You would think he'd be wearing a red jacket. You know, if he's going to do the reverse. But no. And the cuirassier musician wore a green jacket. So I'll paint the cuirassier trumpeter with hunter green. Now I'm grateful that neither the Lancers nor the Cuirassier have those saberdashes or whatever they are, the little sword bags. So yeah, after this green, I'm going to go into the blue, which will actually bleed over into the gun crews. And then I'll do the deep green for the Russian gun crews. And then we'll do some flesh. And then I'll be ready to start detailing these bad boys. Well, after flesh, I want to do the helmets. But I will have covered all the major areas, the biggest areas, most time-consuming areas. So the last 20 paints, or 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, with this hunter green being number 18. So about 20, because I'm sure I forgot a couple of paints. And then as I go through, I'll be like, oh yeah, I need to put this on there. And, oh yeah, I need to do that. Because I found myself digging paints out as we were going along. Okay, so right now I'm just touching things up. If something doesn't look right. That really looks good. So I apologize, I don't have a whole lot to talk about today. Because I spilled my guts yesterday. So I read 90% of the O Group rulebook again last night. Um, just to try to clarify a few things in my own head. And that was successful because there was a couple of rules I thought I had right, and then I reread them and I was like, oh, okay. Now, immediately after this game that we play Saturday, immediately after that, I'm going to put together a O Group boot camp schedule. And then we're going to break those rules down by chapter. I know there's a lot of guys out there that are playing O Group. On stream, you know, where they kind of talk through the rules as they go through them and play and teach kind of at the same time. That's not what the boot camp's going to be. It's going to be a chapter 1. Chapter 1 talks about X, Y, and Z, and this is what it means. And in the second video, it'll be Chapter 2. This is what they mean, and this is how it looks on the table when this happens. And then another video, Chapter 3. You know, and just go through it like I normally do my boot camps. Might not be for everyone. Might not be the way you learn. But it is one way that I learn. But we're going to do the game first. Because I've got the troops. I was going to do a Meg game since I've already done the boot camp. But the Meg armies that I have complete is Macedonian and Gaelic. And I was working on my Caesarian Romans. I didn't want to play a game until I had my Caesarian Romans put together. Which is still true. Because I'm going to tell you, I love Meg. I just don't have any armies that should go against each other. They're out of genre. I can still do it. I might even do a command decision boot camp. Test of battle. Command decision 4th edition. I think that might be fun. And how many people have actually sat down and showed off those rules in a learning way? I don't think there's very many, if any. So there will not be any Wargaming Weekly tomorrow. No Wednesday Wargaming Weekly. I might be back Thursday. Hopefully these figures will be done by then, if not sooner. I still haven't deleted my profile on Facebook. I think I'm going to. I just don't know if I want to worry about it or just leave it there. I don't interact with anybody on there. I used to. I used to go to certain game companies. Well, actually, that's not true. I've gone to Old Glory just recently, within the last year. When their website was down, I went to their Facebook to find out what everybody was saying about it. Okay, we are almost green friendly. Are any of you out there concerned about what's going on in Israel? You know, with the missile strikes and the Iranian retaliation and all that? Or is that just another day in the Middle East? I am a little concerned, but not like, I don't think World War III is going to be right around the corner. Maybe I'm being naive, or maybe I'm just being hopeful. Or optimistic. Okay, I'll come back around, try to fix all that. So now on this musician, his jacket's blue, but his pants and the horse roll is still this hunter green. Right? Yeah, just double checking. Well, I still have not gotten my battle scale. Order. Okay, I got a little green on something I shouldn't have. Okay, so that means I gotta go back and fix that later. Actually, I wonder if I can fix it right now. Possible. It's almost fixed. Okay, it's fixed. Okay, double checking the uniforms. Making sure everything that needs to be green is green. Checking that horse roll on the back of the trumpeter. I think we are good. All right. So there's one green thing on the cuirassier. Let me double check that. Yep, trumpeter jacket. Let's see if my trumpeter is not wearing... Yes, he's not wearing a cuirass. He's got that... knit, like threaded jacket where it's got a bunch of threads. And they're really deep, so that should be easy to paint when I get around to it. Okay, he's gonna have a white belt. I think they're all gonna have a white belt. Turn, yep, okay. The tail is supposed to be green as well. Now I gotta pay a little bit of attention here. Not to get it on the blue. Okay, I think that's good. Alright, so we got his green jacket. That's it for Hunter Green. I don't think I'll be going back to Hunter Green for anything, so let's set that off to the side. Alright. Now I want to use this deep green for the Russians before we get to the blue. Deep green and hunter green are very similar in colors. I wonder if they're interchangeable, actually. There's going to be a little test by me right now. And do it on this guy. It is probably a little bit too deep to be considered a hunter. Yeah. Yeah, it's not the exact same color. Alright, well, that's what I'm going to use for my Russians. Only got 3 gun crew and some generals. Yeah, in the palette, the hunter green looks darker. Trying to get that light to shine in there so I could see what I was doing. Did the Russians wear gorgets? I didn't know that. This miniature's got one. Not exactly sure how this general is wearing this greatcoat, because his hands are underneath it. Okay, maybe he's wearing it like a cape. Because he's got 4 sleeves. That's all right. I think I figured it out. Okay. So it's a unique figure, I'll say that. I don't think I've seen one like it. Okay. Guy's got a giant right arm and a tiny little head. This guy seems like he's way off balance. Okay. Those guys are good to do. Now, a couple of these gun crews have a couple of guys with no jacket on. So I relied on the painted figure displayed on the Warlord game website, and it showed them wearing white tunics. And I trust they were accurate. Now I would do their hats, but I want to do the flesh before I do their hats. Or helmets. Or shakos or whatever. The next episode of Shogun should be tonight. Airs on Tuesdays. That's a show that I really enjoy, but it's coming to a close. I don't know how many episodes are in the season, but it can't be much more. And I say that because all the production companies are moving to an 8 video model. And we've already had 8 episodes. Tonight would be episode 9. Back in the day, there used to be 30 to 40 episodes in a season on television. They don't do that anymore. I think that has something to do with commercials. Nowadays, they don't need commercials. They can just charge a subscription. And because they charge a subscription, they don't think they need to give you 30 to 40 episodes. So basically, you're not getting what you paid for. Alright. I gotta get something to drink. Yeah, I think I've warmed up quite a bit. I can take this off. Okay. Alright, that's the green, but I'm not putting it away because I still need to do their hats. Their little soft caps that they're wearing. Okay. Okay. Oof. Right. Alright, we're going with the blue. And then the blue should be the last color that is one of the large area colors. I do believe that one of the musician here needs to be blue. They need to have some blue on them. They're gonna be blue. And of course, these guys are gonna be blue. I'm using Model Master Dark Blue. I had used Vallejo Dark Blue in the past, and I still do. But I have this available, so why not, right? Alright. Lancer's musician. I have a hard time seeing down inside this pot. He's good to go. Now I notice there's a trend to not use washes. Um, where people will use highlighting and uh, multiple layers of different colors, darker to lighter, you know, and create their own shadows and all that. And that's the way I used to paint back in the 80s. But when I discovered dipping, if you remember those days, I used to dip my figures in a polyurethane stain, like a wood stain, but I made sure it was polyurethane, like a stain and sealant or stain and production or something like that. And I would dip my figures in this, which basically applied a wash and a clear coat to the figures. And then I stopped doing that because it was too messy. It was oily. Took too long to dry. There were just basically so many reasons why I stopped. But I only stopped because I discovered washes. And I only switched to dipping or washing because of the look, the effect, the benefits of doing it. I used to do black lining and stuff like that, but then I was like, washes are just so much better. It gives you kind of a little bit of a dirty look, but also it highlights and darkens shadows and stuff. And I was like, that's why I switched. And now there's these I'm going to say elitists out there that say, oh, you wash, you're such a pleb. I don't wash. Washing is beneath me. Well, sorry, I wash. I like the effect that it gives. Now, I've toyed around with different wash manufacturers, different wash colors, and different additives to make the wash perform better. And I'm constantly experimenting and trying new things. But just because I have to add an additive doesn't mean washing's bad. My neck is starting to hurt because I'm leaning over these miniatures. Oh, so I've been watching a couple of streams about a game called Achtung Panzer, which is a warlord game, but and it's more of a skirmish game than tanks. Remember that game where you just had one tank against one tank? This is kind of like that, but you also have abilities and experience. Your tank crews get better and stuff like that. Um, I don't like it. I watched a few games and I'm disappointed. I'm glad I didn't buy into it as a store. As a store, I have a responsibility to my customers not to carry the bullshit. But I also have a responsibility to myself. Oh, dang it. Okay, I can fix this. I didn't do any of the turnbacks. All I did was their sleeves, because that's all I thought was exposed, but that's not true. Their tails are exposed under the cuirass. It just means I go back and touch those. Apparently, this officer's is a lot more. A lot longer than the troopers. Is it lunchtime yet? Yesterday, just sharing this with you guys. I had beef ravioli from Chef Boyardee from a can. It's been a long time. I mean, maybe never that I've had a Chef Boyardee ravioli from a can. And damn, it was good. The sauce was a little bland, but not unmanageable. I mean, like, all I had to do is add a little spice if I wanted to. You know, a couple drops of hot sauce in there, and bam, I bet you it would have been even better. But it was good. I was remarkably shocked. I took my first bite and I was like, I've been misinformed. Like, this is pretty good. My eyes are starting to lose focus. That's one time when I know I need to stop. I'm putting too much strain on my eyeballs. Usually a 2 to 3 hour stream, and then a lunch, and then I come back to it on my own. If I don't fall asleep at the computer, is usually a good amount of time to let my eyes heal up. You know what? I'm going to shake this up and stir it up a little bit. Wow, I can actually hear it shaking up now. What time do we... Oh, I can't even see the computer from here like that. Is that 10:50? Almost 11? Okay, so it's been almost 2 hours. I'm going to keep going. Not much longer, but I am going to keep going. So like I said, I fell asleep, and when I woke up, there was a dinner plate in the refrigerator, and I was like, "Oh man, I slept through dinner." Yeah, I don't. I'm just seeing all the little details that still need to be done. Epaulets, cartridge boxes, rifles, poles, sword sheaths, swords, spears. It's going to take me a moment. So I've been thinking about getting an airbrush. And not to paint with, but to prime with. So really, I'd only put like one color through it. Like a light gray or a brown or a blue or whatever I'm priming with. And what tipped the balance on whether or not I need to bother with it was my American paratroopers. Because that decomposed flesh, they don't make a rattle can of decomposed flesh. Well, if they do, I don't have one. And it's AK color anyway. So my guess is they don't. I don't think AK makes... Yeah, they do. What? Do they? Yeah, they do. They make rattle cans. But, because I've got an olive drab one. And that would have been great to get all my paratroopers out and just... and an airbrush. And just airbrushed a decomposed flesh as the base uniform color. It would have saved a bunch of time. But would it really save any time? Because the way I applied the decomposed flesh with a brush was pretty much just slapped it on fast and hard, you know what I mean? I just went quick, 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 quick. So would I have really saved much time? Probably not. But I probably would have got a better coverage. Like it would have been a smooth layer with no clogs or anything, you know, which I did run into a little bit of that, but that's only because I was repainting my figures. Because I had painted them with a green brown. Originally. Thinking that was the right color, which it kind of is. But once you apply a wash to it and it darkens it up, it moves it away from being the right color. And the decomposed flesh is so light that when you apply a wash to it, it brings it up to the exact color you need it to be. But I guess if you're one of those elitist assholes that doesn't use washes, then the green-brown might have been the right color to choose from. So this customer paid me for half of the commission in advance, which I love that. But now that I'm almost finished, I'm only days away. I think I'm going to make an invoice and send him an invoice. Just to let him know, hey, I'm almost done. This is how much it's going to cost. Voila. But how often will I need a special color to be primed, through an airbrush? Usually just gray or brown or black is sufficient. Well, after this commission, I am planning on breaking out my offensive miniatures and painting them. And I've got like 400 miniatures that's going to go up on the store. 100 of them are U.S. paratroopers. And then some of them are also SS. Which for their P-dot camo, I could prime them with cork. You're not going to find a cork rattle can. I'm still on the same stick? Dang. I'm painting their tunics and their pants this blue color, covering 90% of the figure. That's why I said once I get rid of this, once I get done with blue, I'll have painted all of the large areas. .8 servings per container. Okay. Because it says 50 calories per serving. But there's almost 3 servings in there, so just shy of 150. Okay. Can I just shake this? Okay, let's go with a bigger brush because I'm painting with something a little small. Taking me too long. Speed this process up. Yeah, each of these sticks of crew members come from a specific type of crew pose. Right? They've got firing, and then they've got loading, and they've got something called running back. And because they are all different activities, I didn't want to mix the figures up, so I kept them in their groups. So I might be able to get some of my local friends to come over one Saturday afternoon play some O group. But I don't want to do that until I'm confident in the rules, you know what I mean? Let me look around that figure. Yeah, I think he's good. This is one reason why I don't like using potted paints. Um, I like their color and their consistency and their coverage and stuff like that. But having to reach down into the pot with your brush uh, does a couple of different things, which happened to me just a few minutes ago. It threatens to get paint in the flume. Paint in the flume, if it dries there, will ruin your brush. And that's the metal piece that's holding all the bristles. If you get paint up inside there, it'll cause your bristles to separate as the paint dries. So you got to be sure not to allow any paint into your flume. And when I dug for paint earlier, I went a little bit too far and got some paint on the flume. Well, I've cleaned it off, but I'm still afraid. And there's a potential of it tipping over. Bumping the table or bumping your paint jar. And then paint will go everywhere. And lastly, well, two more reasons, I guess, two more. It makes it very hard to mix like if I wanted to put a little black in this to make it a little darker, or if I wanted to put a little arid earth in there to make a highlight. I can't. Well, you can, but it's wastage. I can get an eyedropper, or I could use my paintbrush to dip some out and put it in a palette, and then add another paint to it. But I find it way easier just to use a dropper from like a Vallejo, AK, MIG, Army Painter style paint. Basically a non-bottled paint. Going forward, probably never going to order another bottle of paint. And it's so hard to see down inside the pot. To see if you're getting the right amount or if your paintbrush is even touching the paint. And right there I went too high. I think I got it on the flume. I've become very familiar with this figure. I probably painted him like 5 or 6 times already. The guy that's kneeling on the carriage. Okay. Okay, he's nope. Now he's good. Might have to use the brush solvent on this brush to save it. All right. Okay. Okay. That's all the blue. There might be more later, but where, you know, things show up, then I was like, oh, I missed. Or let me touch that up or something like that. That's possible. Right now, I think I've hit all the blue that I need to hit. I'm actually going to take this blue and put it in my rack. I think we're ready for flesh. But we're not going to do that today. Not on this video. Might do it later after lunch. But what I'm going to do is end the video right here. We're going to, I'm going to have some lunch. And then I'll catch you Thursday because I'm not going to have a video tomorrow. All right, you guys take care. Closing all my paint palettes.